The key to long-term success. We live in a world full of distractions, where it's easy to get lost in the noise, to feel overwhelmed by responsibilities, or to be discouraged by setbacks. But if we want to succeed, if we want to become better versions of ourselves, we need to harness two important forces, motivation and discipline. These two concepts are often spoken of interchangeably, but they are not the same. Understanding the difference between them and knowing how to use them together can make a significant impact on your life. Motivation, the fire inside. Let's start by talking about motivation. What is motivation? Motivation is the spark that gets us going. It's the reason we start something. It's that feeling of excitement, that burst of energy we feel when we're inspired. Think about the times you felt motivated. Maybe it was after watching an inspiring movie, reading an uplifting book, or hearing someone's success story. Motivation is often born from a vision of what could be a vision of a better future, of achieving your dreams, or of overcoming challenges. Motivation feels good. It's powerful. It's got a rush of energy that makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning and conquer the world. When you're motivated, things feel easy. Tasks that once seemed difficult now feel exciting because you're focused on the end result. But here's the problem: motivation doesn't last. Motivation by its very nature comes and goes. It's like a wave. Sometimes it's strong and carries you far, and other times it's barely there. It's easy to be motivated when things are going well, but what happens when things get tough? What happens when you're tired, when you face setbacks, or when progress is slow? But you might have experienced this yourself. You set a goal, you're excited about it, and for the first few days or weeks, everything goes great. So you're putting the effort, you're making progress, and you feel amazing. But then the initial excitement wears off. Maybe life gets busy, maybe you hit a roadblock, or maybe you're just not feeling it anymore. And before you know it, you're back to where you started, stuck, frustrated, and wondering why you couldn't stick with it. Motivation, as great as it is unreliable. It's a feeling, and like all feelings, it changes. But you can't depend on it to carry you through the hard times. And that's where discipline comes in. Discipline, the steady engine. And discipline is different from motivation. While motivation is the spark that gets you started, discipline is the engine that keeps you there. It's the ability to keep doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is about consistency, commitment, and perseverance. Let me tell you something important. Discipline is far more valuable than motivation. Why? Because discipline doesn't rely on your emotions. It doesn't matter if you're feeling excited or bored, happy or frustrated. If you have discipline, you'll do what needs to be done. To think about it like this: if you only exercise when you felt motivated, how often would you actually work out? Probably not as often as you should, but if you have discipline, you'll exercise even when you don't feel like it because you've committed to it and you know that the results come from consistency. A discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. At first, it might be hard to be disciplined, especially if you're used to relying on motivation to get things done. But over time, as you build the habit of discipline, it becomes easier. You don't have to fight with yourself as much to get things done because it becomes a part of who you are. Now, you might be thinking, but if discipline is so important, do I even need motivation? The answer is yes, you do. While discipline is the key to long-term success, motivation still plays an important role. Motivation can help you get started, and it can give you a boost of energy when you need it. But the key is not to rely on motivation alone. Instead, use it as a tool to complement your discipline. Like how to build discipline. So how do we build discipline? How do we make sure that we can keep going even when we don't feel like it? Start small and be consistent. First step to building discipline is to start small. Don't try to change everything in your life overnight. Instead, focus on one small habit at a time. If your goal is to exercise regularly, start by committing to just 10 minutes a day. It might not seem like much, but the goal is to build the habit of consistency. Once you've built the habit, you can gradually increase the intensity or duration. The key is to be consistent. It's better to do something small every day than to do something big once in a while. Consistency is what builds momentum, and momentum is what keeps you going. Set clear goals, and having clear goals is crucial for building discipline. If you don't know what you're working towards, it's easy to lose focus and give up. Your goals should be specific, measurable, and realistic. Instead of saying, I want to get in shape, set a clear goal like, I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 3 months. When you have a clear goal, it's easier to stay disciplined because you know exactly what you're working towards. And make sure to break your goals down into smaller, manageable steps. It's easy to get overwhelmed by big goals, but if you focus on one step at a time, it becomes much more achievable. Remove temptations. Discipline isn't just about doing what needs to be done. It's also about avoiding distractions and temptations that can derail your progress. If you're trying to eat healthier, for example, don't keep junk food in your house. And if you're trying to focus on your work, turn off your phone or block distracting websites. Creating an environment that supports your goals makes it much easier to stay disciplined. The fewer temptations you have, the less willpower you'll need to use, and the more likely you are to stay on track. Embrace the power of routine. One of the best ways to build discipline is to create a daily routine. Routines help eliminate decision fatigue because they allow you to automate certain parts of your day. When you have a routine, you don't have to think about what you need to do, you just do it. For example, if you want to become a better writer, make writing a part of your daily routine. Set aside a specific time each day to write and stick to it. Over time, it will become a habit and you won't have to rely on motivation to get started. Practice patience. Discipline requires patience. Success does happen overnight, and progress often comes slowly. That it's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results, but remember that good things take time. Stay committed to the process and trust that the results will come. If you keep putting in the work, celebrate small wins. One of the best ways to stay disciplined is to celebrate your small wins along the way. Every time you make progress, no matter how small, take a moment to acknowledge it. This will help you stay motivated and remind you that your efforts are paying off. Discipline doesn't mean you have to be hard on yourself all the time. It's important to balance hard work with positive reinforcement. Celebrating your successes will help you stay energized and focused on your goals. So motivation and discipline working together. So how do motivation and discipline work together? To think of motivation as the why behind your actions and discipline as the how. Motivation is what gets you started, and discipline is what keeps you going. They are both important, but they serve different purposes. When you're feeling motivated, take advantage of that energy to set clear goals and get started. But don't rely on motivation alone. Use discipline to build consistent habits that will carry you through the times when motivation is lacking. There will be days when you don't feel like putting in the work. That's normal, but if you've built the habit of discipline, you'll be able to push through those days and keep moving forward. And here's the beautiful thing. Once you start seeing results from your discipline, that in itself can become a source of motivation. When you see the progress you're making, it reignites your passion and gives you the energy to keep going. The importance of persistence. It's important to understand that both motivation and discipline are part of a larger picture of persistence. Life is full of challenges, and success is rarely a straight path. You will face obstacles, you will have setbacks, and there will be times when you want to give up. But if you can combine motivation, discipline, and persistence, you will be unstoppable. Persistence means never giving up, even when things get tough. It's the understanding that failure is not the end, it's just a part of the process. But every successful person you admire has faced failure here at some point, but they didn't let it stop them. They kept going, and so can you. Conclusion, you're in control. But as I bring this talk to a close, I want to leave you with one final thought. You are in control of your life. And you have the power to achieve your goals, to overcome challenges, and to create the future you want. But to do that, you need both motivation and discipline. Motivation will give you the spark you need to get started, but it's discipline that will carry you through to the finish line. And when the two work together, there's no limit to what you can achieve. So my challenge to you is this: take the first step. Whether it's a small step or a big one, take it. Set a goal, make a plan, and commit to it. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect feeling. Start now and use discipline to keep even when the excitement fades. Remember, success is not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. You don't have to be motivated every day, but you do have to be disciplined every day. And if you can do that, I promise you, you will achieve things you never thought possible.